All right, well, it looks like we're going to get started right about now, in fact. And
We
Uncle...
updated our privacy policy. Oh my god. I've never seen that text before. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
That's a very recent addition to the text pool, showing the devs are hard at work keeping this game GDPR compliant. Shoutouts to Vitor for that. And was that a single rupee coming out of Uncle?
Yep, it most certainly was.
Or Link's house, rather.
Alright, we got a green, we actually got a green pendant Eastern and 2 crystals for the other dungeons.
Okay. I mean, I'd rather have a green pendant in Eastern than a red pendant or a blue pendant.
It would be nice to see bow as the first item. I always like I always find every time that Eastern is a pendant, I'm getting the bows silly early.
Yeah, but not today. Today we are going to see some bomb strats. 10 bomb drop coming from the Uncle as these runners run through the escape section. So of course that means the runners aren't going to have to farm for bombs to have something for the backup escape, but they are going to have to be judicious in their use of bombs. We might see some pre-prepped strategies with specific bomb placements that these runners know are going to pay off nicely. And if they're really lucky, maybe we'll even see a sword along the way.
Or another... Ooh, nice bomb placements for Truzzl. Felix also getting just using 2 bombs. It's really nice when you go and you're able to do that with just 2 bombs, because you know, with the bombs right now, they're a little scarce at the moment.
Yeah, fortunately you can get some very consistent setups on those blue guards. Runners coming up now on the green guard, who a bit less consistent. Truzzl opting for the play where he just carries the bomb around, lets the guard run into him, and takes care of things that way.
It looks like Felix doing the same thing.
Hey, you know whatever works? And Felix, unfortunately, missing a guard with the bomb there, does get him lined up, kind of posturing him at the top of the room where he gets confused and waits for the bomb to go off.
Alright, so we're gonna see them try to avoid Truzzl getting some nice RNG with the green guard there. It doesn't look like Felix is... Oh, Felix is also just as lucky.
This green guard's onto him here might cause a couple problems. Felix gonna have to pot that guard. Very nicely done. It turns out if you let that guard into the cell with you, generally you're gonna get hit when you try to pick up a pot, and then you'll drop the pot, and now you're trapped in there with an angry guard and not enough stuff to clear the room. So good play by Felix to make sure that didn't happen.
Alright, so both these players are going to be heading into the sewers. They have enough bombs at the moment. They're going to want to still be a little bit sparse with using them. They do still need to kill a key rat. And sometimes, depending upon the key rat's RNG, can be a little bit annoying. But generally pretty consistent 90% of the time.
Yeah, I expect we'll see that same sort of kamikaze play where they just pick up the bomb and stay next to that rat and make sure it goes off where the rat will get hit. Felix farming a bit from the guards, maybe hoping to get a bunch of rupee drops before he gets to the village. And Truzzl just carrying straight on. He says, I've got my bombs. I'm not worried about anything else. I just want to get through this escape.
So we're not going to see a key in the small chest over here because we've already found it in the Zelda cell. So we're still looking for a map, though, I believe. I don't think we found that yet. So we could see a map in this chest.
I believe we did not, and of course, if they can open every chest throughout Escape without the map, ideally they can skip the last chest. I'm glad they opened that one, though. That was the Power Glove.
Yep, definitely a nice chest to find.
I mean, the Power Glove is fantastic because it lets you pick up the stones in the graveyard, so you can drop into the back half of Escape and bomb the wall open if you don't have any bombs. But the runners already have the bombs anyways, so maybe less helpful here than usual.
Truzzl down to 1 heart here. Did pick up the key from the key rat. Oh, Felix unfortunately missing it. Gonna have to... There we go. Picks up the key. So we're getting to see the last 3 chests here. One of them most likely a map. Oh, nice. Map is gonna be in Sanctuary.
Yeah, so if the runners have been counting very carefully, they'll know that they haven't seen the map, and they'll skip that chest, but I wouldn't be surprised if either runner opened it, just because, you know, it can happen where you get all the way through Escape and you think you've got everything, you skip that chest and it's got something. I don't think they want to take that chance tonight.
Definitely not. And there is that map. So I expect we'll see both the players making the same plays towards Kakariko. We might see one of them head up toward, one or both of them head up towards the Lost Woods at Lumberjack Cave. So you notice Felix actually did skip that chest. He did notice that it was in fact just a map. He was counting the items.
That's right, and it looks like Felix is going to head up, check Lumberjack, do some tree pulling. Truzzl going to check a tree pull here, and just getting blue rupees from that second tier tree pull.
Yeah, but
oh,
they're on
Felix
their way.
Is straight into the woods too.
But they're both on their way to 500 rupees, which is what they'll need for Zora. They need 100 rupees for... Ooh, a book. They need 100 rupees for the bottle vendor. But we're starting to see a Desert Palace care package here.
Yeah, not only the book to get in the front door, but that Power Glove gives you access to the back half of the dungeon with land molas. So,
maybe
you know, still need a fire source, still might need the boots, but it's starting to look like an attractive option.
So with 3 bombs remaining, Truzzle's gonna head into the Blind's hut here.
But look where Felix is going less than 10 minutes into this race.
We're already getting our pedestal check.
You know, when you have the book that early, you might as well just check this pedestal, find out if it's going to be required.
And looks like just a little bit of love.
Yeah, so pedestal not required to complete this seed. Could save the runners a bit of time checking in pendant dungeons, not clearing out those bosses.
And this isn't actually too bad of a play because Felix is actually just going to be able to go straight out into Kakariko as well, just head down into the well. It's not really any, I guess it's not a lot of additional time to just check that now.
No, especially not with the knowledge he's gained from doing that check. Oh my goodness.
It's the Cane of Samaria. Got the red cane here. And the hammer.
And a heart container and another heart container. My goodness, the well just increased the power and survivability of these runners by so much.
So we're gonna get to see the bottle vendor and oh, nice return on his investment, 300 rupees. So now we do officially have enough rupees for Zora.
You know, I try walking up to people in the street and handing them $100. I don't end up with $300 in return from them. I think I need to do what these runners do.
I think I need to run into you in the streets.
That's where all my money's going.
Back of tavern, we're seeing 20 rupees.
And Felix is going to get that rupee conversion as well. Truzzle's finished up in the village and is headed south. He's still got 3 bombs, so I think he's in a position where he says, okay, I don't need to actually go and buy 10 from the bomb shop, or the shop in the village, rather, which is often something we'd see runners do at this point.
See, I don't know. I would kind of make that play to go buy some more. Only, Ice Rod at the race game. But I would kind of go get some more because he's going to use one here. He's going to need one for, the Mini-moldorm cave. He's going to need one for the Ice Rod cave. And then plus, if, let's say he gets the lamp or something, wants to go up Death Mountain, and maybe gets access to East Death Mountain, well, he's not going to be able to check anything over there without any bombs, so...
Yeah, both runners are going to be cutting it a bit close in that case. Truzzl making, I think, the correct play to pick up the Ice Rod, because at this point, the odds are reasonable that Turtle Rock's going to be required. There's no sense in skipping that item. Yeah,
well, Ice Rod always ends up early in the event of a pendant Turtle Rock, so I'm expecting a pendant Turtle Rock.
Now, that's just perception bias.
Truzzl is skipping the dam and actually going straight to Mini-moldorm cave over here.
I kind of like this. If I had to guess, I'd say he's putting off the dam until he has the stuff to finish clearing desert, and then he can just do the dam on the way to Desert Palace.
Or if he can do it on the way to Swamp would be another thing too. So Felix also saving and quitting after picking up that Ice Rod. And Truzzl, this Mini-moldorm is not cooperating with him at all.
Yeah, Samaria maybe takes a bit longer than the hammer strats, but it's so much safer. And as Felix left the house there, I saw him pick up that middle rock in front of Link's house. I'm not sure if Truzzl did that. That middle rock has a 50-50 chance of dropping a bomb, and when you're as bomb-starved as these runners are right now, it definitely is worth your time to be picking up that rock.
So I'm thinking, yeah, Truzzl looks like he's going to be heading back towards the dam, and I'm thinking maybe after that, heading towards Agina's cave and desert with that book. So this could actually be really interesting.
Yeah, kind of a small divergence from, shall we say, the standard routing, but when the seed seems to be pushing you over to over to desert at the start, makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah, nothing really in the dam either, so it wasn't too much of a problem to actually go that way. It looks like Felix might have contemplated going back, maybe to go check Agina's cave, maybe to pick up that 20 rupees. But the dam already flooded again, turned around, went back to the Mini-moldorm cave. I don't know if we saw what the hoarder prize is, actually.
I don't believe we did. So that's potentially a large source of income, or even better, bombs for these runners that's sitting untapped right now.
So both runners now picking up their bottles. It's going to give them access to another location, Sick Kid back in Kakariko.
And in Agina's cave, just 20 rupees for Truzzl.
So it looks like he is in fact going to make that desert play, while Felix actually heads towards Ice Rod Cave. So 2 potential items in Desert Palace, plus the one on the ledge. Of course, any of them can be blocked by boots and or the fire source required to actually complete desert.
And just a piece of heart on the ledge. Truzzl doing that map check to find out he's going to be entering a crystal dungeon here. And Felix uses his last bomb to open up Ice Rod Cave.
And Felix just getting a heart container for his troubles. So Truzzle's gonna find out really quickly whether or not this dungeon requires boots or not to get very far. And Felix was hoping for another bomb drop. He looks like he might be, yeah, I think he was, oh, it looks like Desert is in fact key locked. Key is on the torch here. But Felix looks like he was going to be heading down towards Agina's cave and realized, oh shoot, I don't have a bomb. Actually, now is changed his mind, heading towards the Hashalas. Which,
yeah, unfortunately, he only needs one bomb to open up the back of that.
So, and Truzzle is heading over towards Agina's cave. Oh, he might be actually checking the water or island thing. Oh, nope. Going to go buy bombs.
Well, he still could. He still could, but buying the 10 bombs here is probably the best spot he can find to do it at this point.
Yep. And so it looks like he isn't going to check the island item.
Yeah, that's one that slips by a lot of runners' minds, because you can't, of course, get to it at this point, but if you hop off the ledge, you can at least see it right now.
I'm expecting we're going to find a moon pearl very shortly. A moon pearl or a lamp. Actually, I don't even think a lamp. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the moon pearl. Considering that they're going to have to get something unlocked fairly quickly. There's not a lot of places left for them to check. It looks like the next step is probably going to be Dark World access.
Yeah, either we're going to see some sort of progression come out of Eastern Palace, or it'll be up at Zora, or it could be at Sick Kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. Moon Pearl's looking very likely at this point. And then we'll just have the whole Dark World open to us.
Yeah, because at the moment, if they find the lamp, then it's only really going to give them access to Death Mountain, a little bit of Death Mountain, but without the mirror or the hookshot, not very much of it.
Now, if the runners are watching this back later, I apologize. But I kind of hope that we don't see the lamp in this race. I know both runners are up to the task of doing dark rooms. I've seen them both do it before. And I really would like if they got to show it off.
So far in Eastern Palace, we've found a compass and we've found a big key. So if they find a map, then there's definitely going to be an item on the boss.
Yeah, going into Eastern at this point is definitely the right play with the potential 3 items, but it's really taking a long time to get anything out of it.
The benefit of this, though, is that actually both of them have to do this. So it's not like one person is going to find an item right at the beginning. Oh, there's that map!
You were saying.
Well, it looks like there's an item on Arbos.
Yeah, and we'll get this item in the chest here, and it's going to be the only item that's logically available at this point. 10 arrows for your trouble. I mean, why is there 10 arrows in this room? There's 15 free arrows under pots right there.
But maybe those are the special arrows. The special arrows that they'll use later in order to kill Ganon.
No, those were 10 arrows, not silver arrows, sadly.
Well, they can turn into silver arrows?
Yeah, let's not ask too many questions about the alchemy involved. So Felix going through the dark rooms here with using his hammer to plot his position on the screen. Truzzle doing the same thing, getting rid of the Popo nice and quickly. We're going to have one more chest here. It probably is not going to be progression just because it's a sequence break at this point.
Yep. No, just 20 rupees. But both these runners are going to be making that same play. I'm interested to see where Felix is going to go. I expect probably down towards Desert because he hasn't been there yet.
Oh, that's right.
But, oh, and it looks like he doesn't have the bomb again. Back into the house you go. Where Truzzle is probably going to be either making the sick kid or Zora play at this point. He also hasn't checked, he also has not checked Ice Rod Cave. So we could potentially see that at some point. Ice Rod Cave is one of those things that is really far out of the way, and better to check when you have the flute or the boots in some occasions.
Yeah, in this particular case, you know, I'm sure Truzzle still knows it's there. He's going to the village. He'll probably get some progression out of this, and we won't see him check Ice Rod Cave for a long time, especially when it's just a heart container, and it's not actually going to leave him anything. Speaking of the flute, I think he was trying to activate it there.
You can't activate your bombs there. I can promise you it's not gonna... Wow!
Oh, no.
The fetch quest train has begun.
Go down to Mini-moldorm Cave. Get your fairy in a bottle. Show the bottle to the sick kid. He gives you the mushroom that he's been growing underneath his bed. Take that over to the witch and maybe get some progression? I like what Truzzle's doing here.
Oh, nice. He's doing the fake flipper to use the warp portal to go to the witch. Very, very nice. So Felix is unfortunately going to be pretty disappointed when he heads into the desert and finds only a compass and not anything else. But we could potentially see him sequence break to get the items on the right-hand side. But one of those is going to be a big key. He knows that he'll need the boots because this is a required dungeon. He will need the boots to come back later, so it could give him an advantage on where the boots are located.
Yeah,
if it gives a progression item. Sorry.
It'd certainly be a gamble, but it's something he can do. Truzzle traded that mushroom in and got the flippers, though. That works out really nicely on his end.
So, we got the flippers from the witch. So I wonder if anybody had fake flippered at the beginning, if that might have been advantageous.
You know, I'm starting to think, everyone wants to put off fake flippering until they have the Moon Pearl. So you can use the Moon Pearl's weird status effect to get those 2 chests in Waterfall Cave. I wonder if we're not going to see the Moon Pearl in there, making that sequence break impossible.
That's possible. Definitely possible.
And it looks like Felix is headed straight down to this area at the bottom. Gonna do the fake flippers anyways.
Oh.
So he's not gonna do his mushroom into flippers just yet.
No, if the Waterfall Cave has the Moon Pearl, then that could be disadvantageous for Felix, but it'll be really good for Truzzle.
Yeah, he's just having everything kind of fall into place for him right now.
Yeah. So here we go, bombs, and the Moon Pearl, there it is!
Well, that's our Dark World access. Truzzle, while he's up here, is still going to check on Zora, check that ledge item, make sure he's not missing anything up here, but he's going to have the world open to him.
Yep, absolutely. Just a +5 inventory upgrade on the ledge for Zora. So nothing really significant there.
And Felix getting the fake flipper set up out of the hobo area requires you to actually counterintuitively be a bit lower in the screen than you'd expect, but you can still get out of there. He's going to loop around and do Zora, but he's going to be missing that Moon Pearl.
And we got blue mail.
That's not terrible.
Nope.
But it's not going to progress you.
It's definitely not going to be what Felix is looking for, that's for sure. So Truzzle now going to be heading towards Village of Outcasts, probably to get into the Dark World. So interestingly enough, actually, neither of the runners, with the hammer and the cane of Samaria and the mushroom, none of them fake powdered. Felix, of course, doesn't have the mushroom yet, but Truzzl definitely hasn't fake powdered and just handed it straight in. So it could be interesting if Felix picks up that mushroom from the sick kid and instead goes while he's already he's already in Village of Kakariko, could goes just straight to the magic bat.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to see what comes out of there. If it's a big progression item, could save Felix some of the time he needs to gain back at this point. And Truzzle doing a map check in the Dark World. There are red crystals in Turtle Rock and Ice Palace, and pendants in Palace of Darkness and Swamp Palace.
Ooh, interesting. So early Ice Rod and red crystal Turtle Rock. And you know what? They already have the cane of Samaria and the hammer and one glove. They need another glove and a medallion, and they could probably already hop in there. They're not too far away from it.
Yeah. And, if
Flavor.
Fire Rod shows up, it does both Ice Palace and Turtle Rock. Is your Pyramid Fairy sense tingling?
My Pyramid Fairy sense is definitely tingling. And look, Felix, instead of saving and quitting, is going not the way I thought he was. Never mind, I can scratch that.
I completely agree. He is not saving and quitting just yet. It does look like he is going to do the fake powder, but he threw me for a second too.
Okay, yeah, he went to get bombs first. There he is. He's using his magic.
Over on Truzzle's side, he's clearing out Thieves Town, finds a sword there nice and early. That'll come in super handy for the blind fight, which I'm sure he was prepared to do without the sword, but always goes better with.
I agree. Blind fight without the sword is sometimes pretty butts.
And so Felix using the cane of Samaria when he has no magic, and ideally immediately switching over to the mushroom.
There we go.
Somehow activates the magic powder. We don't like to ask too many questions. Was that a mirror?
That was a mirror. Oh, fake powder, unfortunately only yielding a heart piece. So Felix, unfortunately, not gaining back the time he needs. What he needs to do now is take that mushroom over to the witch and get those flippers and pick up more bombs.
At least he's got the bomb farming down, and it looks like he's going to do the same fake flipper setup that we saw from Truzzle. This is the fastest way to get up to the witch's area.
Yeah, and the setup really good for him. Just gets it first try.
And Truzzle navigating the back of Thieves Town pretty well, getting slowed down by the enemies on the conveyor because they were not cooperating, but opting to dodge them really nicely, not take too much damage, which is the main goal through Thieves Town. It's kind of this war of attrition between you and the dungeon, and if you take 10 seconds longer, or even 5 seconds like Truzzle did, and you save all that health, you're going to be in such a better position for the basement.
Yeah. And Felix is heading towards Zora now. Gonna be going into that waterfall cave and finding that moon pearl. And at this point, I think I'm trying to think if there's anything else that he can check without sequence breaking, but I don't think so.
The hobo, I suppose.
No, Felix has checked the hobo already.
Oh, that's right, he has.
Yep. And I'm wondering if this, opening this last chest, finding the moon pearl, is gonna make him a little bit worried. Because
You're
really
right.
was the last place he could check.
Yeah, and there is that danger when that happens and you go, oh no, how fast did my opponent do that? It can just start eating away at your confidence a bit And at this point in the race, it's not what you want to see happen.
Nope. And looks like we're gonna be seeing a hype cave check. So I'm gonna guess that it's gonna probably be like a 2 out of 10 hype with all the things that we're seeing at Thieves Town.
Yeah, we saw a mirror and a sword already in Thieves Town. Truzzl, kind of on autopilot there, says, hang on, I don't have a small key. I don't need to go into that room. All it's got is a small key.
Yep.
What's Felix gonna get here?
Well, there's the powder.
Okay.
Oh no.
Well, he's unsequenced broken the piece of heart he picked up. He gets some money, a piece of heart, a heart container, and one arrow.
Oh man, what a cave.
That's about a -1 out of 10 on the hype index, I think.
Oh come on, he's got powder. At least he's gonna be able to, if he needs to, like get an anti-fairy, turn it into a fairy. Got something.
I suppose it's unfortunately it's just not on a location unlocked at this point. Truzzl does really nice on that blind fight though, takes it out, gets 10 arrows, but more importantly gets that first crystal.
Absolutely. 30 minutes in, obtaining our first crystal. He's still gonna be able to check quite a few locations in the overworld. That's one of my favorite things about getting hammer access to Dark World instead of like Titan's Mitts or something. It definitely gives you a lot more choices.
Yeah, and Felix picked up half magic from Stumpy there. That's great.
Now, with Felix coming up this way, he's not going to be able to go into Village of Outcasts because he doesn't have the Titan's Mitts unless he finds them at the digging game here. But also, he's not going to have the mirror that Truzzl has obtained from Thieves Town. So he's not going to be able to check the Circle of Bushes Grove.
Oh, that's right. This is going to be a save and quit from here.
Yep. So he's going to have to go to the sanctuary. And obtains another bottle.
Well, we've got 2 bottles, each with fairies, and powder in play, plus blue mail. This is a very safe run for the runners at this point. They are, I think, not going to be in much danger, safety-wise. It's going to come down to a lot of their routing here.
All right, so it looks like Felix is in fact making his way over to Village of Outcasts. And Truzzl will probably head down towards the Circle of Bushes and pick up quarter magic. Goodness gracious, what am I playing on easy mode? Quarter magic and or half. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna stop talking now.
So Truzzle's going to show us what's in this Circle of Bushes cave. After that, I expect he'll head back to the Dark World and pick up a fraction of magic that is a larger fraction than 1/4.
Half magic. He's going to be picking up half magic from Stumpy.
That's the one.
And he's going to be going Hype Cave afterwards.
Yeah, now Hype Cave for Truzzle is going to suck a little bit less just because he's going to be able to use that powder for something. It'll be an interesting unlock, but if he takes the time to do it, it is just a piece of heart for him.
Yep. And any time that he has to go out of his way to get something is a little bit beneficial for Felix.
Yeah, no, Truzzle's position here is an interesting one, because he could just save and quit and head somewhere else, though I can't think where that would be at this point. I think he might take that hammer, go over the bridge, and either head to Pod or head up to the pyramid and Catfish.
Could also go into Swamp. Cane of Burna.
Oh, I wish you hadn't said that. Swamp is on the table.
Yep, not completable because they don't have the hook shot, but you never know what you're gonna find in a hook shotless Swamp. Although I can imagine both of them will be avoiding that like the plague.
A
for a
hookshot-less
while.
pendant swamp? Certainly not where you want to be going. Oh, it looks like Truzzl is not going to keep checking mirror lock locations. He is going to head up the mountain.
Yeah. Sequence breaking up the mountain. He does have the mirror and the hammer, so it's going to give him access to East Death Mountain. And this could, again, give him information depending upon what he finds over on the east side of Death Mountain on where the lamp or the hook shot, or sorry, where the lamp or the flute is.
That's right. It's a bit of a risky play to do this just because there's that potential. You get up to Tower of Hera, you open the first two chests, and you only have the small key. And so now you're blocked by the basement, and you can't get through the rest of it without a fire source. Hopefully that won't happen to him here. He does get the cape from the old man, so, between that and Burna, Spike Cave's in play.
Yep, as well as the Bumper Cave.
Oh, that's right, and we did not see either a Bumper Cave or a Graveyard Ledge check from him.
Ooh, Master Sword, though, on Spectacle Rock.
Regardless of anything else, I think that Master Sword just made this sequence break a lot more worthwhile.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Felix, making his way through Thieves Town, has cleared out that front half, got his sword, got his mirror, gonna head through the back half. With the advantage of powder and, of course, blue mail, he'll be very safe doing this.
Alright, what are we gonna find at the Ether Tablet? 20 rupees. Actually, it would be really interesting to see if they got a fire source in Tower of Hera. Because that could unlock the basement.
Yeah, and of course the logic implications of that would be fascinating.
Ooh.
Another little piece of heart.
Uh-oh. If he doesn't find a big key in this chest, he's not going to be able to complete the dungeon. But he does! So only one more item left in Tower of Hera. And so if he opens this next chest and it's an item, that's actually pretty good for him. As Felix continues his way through Thieves Town, using that powder, which he gained earlier.
Okay, the powder was worthwhile. Felix got some use out of it. I'm going to upgrade my -1 out of 10 to a 0 out of 10 for Hype Cave.
Oh, come on. Oh, there's the second item. Well, there we go.
All right. Tower of Hera, entirely uninteresting in its items, but at the very least, we've got them. We know we're not going to leave one behind in the basement.
I wonder if Felix is going to go on autopilot over towards the big chest. So Truzzl opting to use Master Sword instead of Hammer does spins, which again 3 hits to Moldorm. Gonna be getting that small key, which he doesn't really care about at this point because he's got both items. And his next crystal, so that's 2 crystals currently for Truzzl. And Felix going into the blind fight, going to be getting his first crystal here.
Yeah, it looks like he got the phase 1 script down just nicely. Phase 2 also very clean. So as long as he can land 3 more hits here, he'll be in good shape. There we are.
GG. Getting the 10 arrows. We see 300 rupees on the floating island here. All right. Oh boy, +10 bomb inventory upgrade.
Well,
Oh
you
my
know.
gosh.
It costs you a bomb to get into that cave, and so the least it can do is allow you to carry more bombs.
So exciting.
Ideally, it would, replenish your bombs, but we can't have everything.
Well, there's the bombs you were looking for.
Yeah, those 2 pieces of heart, blue boomerang, arrow capacity upgrade. Wow.
Such garbage.
That's
What are these caves?
one of the worst paradox caves I've seen in a long time. Truzzl just 1 pixel short on that bomb jump, takes the fall. But he's going to give it another go, because I think it is still faster if you're climbing the mountain to try the bomb jump again rather than go outside.
And Felix getting the compass and big key from Skullwoods. Today, apparently, I am tongue-tied.
Well, they both have a W in them.
What is this game? I've never played it before, apparently. We're gonna get a small key out of here that's guaranteed. So that you're able to walk through this door here. Else we have Truzzl moving along through Spiral Cave. Slow mode cave right now, unfortunately, without those boots. Getting just 20 rupees.
So all that sequence breaking, and all he really got out of it was a crystal and the Master Sword. So he's going to have to head back into the Dark World now to keep scouting locations. And Felix is going to check the back of Skull Woods and probably then head over to Graveyard Ledge and Bumper Cave.
Yeah, there's still so many places they can check. Truzzl looks like he's probably going to be heading towards Pod, which could potentially yield some good items. Also, if not, he's able to just hop out, go to the pyramid as well as Catfish. At the moment, if the first chest is not a small key, then he's going to have to leave. If the first chest is a small key, he's going to be able to continue. As long as he uses his keys wisely, he might be able to get into the back of the dungeon.
Yeah, and he's carrying 2 bottles, but I believe those are both fairy bottles. So the potion glitch is not on the table for him.
Oh my goodness. Bumper Cave has Titansmith. So we all know where that cape is right now. Cape is sitting on Death Mountain. That's going to be great news for Truzzl. Felix has got to find that flute or the lamp really soon.
Yeah, and the flute gets you up Death Mountain, but logically it doesn't put you in the old man's cave. I'm thinking we're going to see the lamp, if not from Felix right here, then from Truzzl very shortly after.
Or in Swamp, cough, cough.
Oh no, not. Yes, I'm aware Swamp is logically available, but no, let's not do that.
No, more bomb inventory upgrades. Well, we did get a small key from Pod, so we're gonna see a little bit more of it, at least. With the flippers, Felix is gonna be able to head right over to Catfish. This is actually one of my favorite routes to get to Catfish, because you're already kind of over here. There's really no nice way of going to Catfish, but at least this will lead Felix towards Pod. Potentially, if there's a flute or the lamp in there, that'll be good for him. At least lead him. Well, I guess the lamp. I can see him sequence breaking, though, up Death Mountain. Although, I believe he's been a little bit more generous with the sequence breaks.
Speaking of sequence breaks, it looks like he's gonna let one of those fairies free so he can buy a green potion here, just for the purpose of sequence breaking the right side of Palace of Darkness.
All right, so we're gonna get to see Catfish. I always enjoy when Catfish has an item. We've seen Truzzl kind of, his style this race has been more quantity. He's avoided checking Ice Rod Cave, hasn't checked Catfish yet. So I'm feeling like if something's on Catfish, we might not see it for a little bit on Truzzle's side. But it's more bomb inventory upgrades. Goodness gracious, this seed.
I feel like these things are just haunting us wherever Felix goes, wherever Truzzle goes. There's a bomb inventory upgrade.
We must be close to getting all of them at this point. I wonder if they went and bought bombs, how many bombs it would give them right now. So we got Bombos in Pod, which, so we were talking earlier about our Pyramid Fairy senses are tingling. Interestingly enough, with potentially Bombos, that could be Ice Palace with the Cane of Samaria, as well as we could potentially see with the fact that the myths are on Bomber Cave. You know, we could see something interesting at Pyramid
Well, there's
Fairy.
our lamp.
At the pyramid. Well, that's good for Felix. At least that should lead him up Death Mountain. And Truzzle getting that, the hammer yump. Picking up the, the heart piece, of course.
Yeah, so Truzzle, he already showed us off the basement room. He's showing off the dark maze now, getting red mail in there. He's perfectly capable of doing dark rooms. The thing is, no matter how good you are at dark rooms, you're going to be slower at dark rooms than you are doing them with the lamp. So this could be an opportunity for Felix to make up a fair amount of time, especially because Truzzle's just saving Quit out of Pod. Doesn't look like he's interested in heading to the pyramid right now.
So, looks like Felix might be grabbing a little bit more rupees, maybe for some potions, maybe for Pod, and I don't think he's already done the digging game, he's already done the chest game, so I'm thinking it must be for potions and Pod. The 2 P's. And up Death Mountain we go.
Now, and Truzzle is back in the dark world, heading towards the pyramid, it looks like, so Lamp is going to come to him sooner rather than later. Now, the question's going to be for Felix. He's going to get this cape. Does he immediately get out of here and go grab those Titan's mitts before he comes back to the mountain? Or does he go straight up the mountain instead?
See, I would go back, to be honest. The second I got that cape, I would go, because you're going to have to go to right side or east side Death Mountain anyways. You're going to want those Titan's mitts so you can check at least the Super Bunny Cave. Maybe you might find Hookshot along the way. We know that in the light world, at least, he's definitely not going to find Hookshot or Boots in east side Death Mountain. So, but you know, Super Bunny Cave, we don't have any clue on yet. So,
no, that's completely right. And the other thing going up there with mitts will give you is you get to check out what's required to enter Turtle Rock. Now, he doesn't have Bombos, so even if it is Bombos, he can't enter the dungeon. But just having that knowledge is going to go so far for him.
and Truzzle is heading up towards Catfish. He's gonna see that wonderful bomb inventory upgrade that we know both of these players love so much at this point.
Yeah, and at this point, Truzzle is running low on spots he has left to check. He hasn't been to North Dark World. He hasn't been to Skull Woods, and he hasn't been to Swamp. So those might be his only options here.
I'm thinking that at this point, when he's been kind of going for more quantity style things, I think he might stop in Skullwoods first just to check the beginning part, and then leave Skullwoods, head towards Bumper Cave, and then check Graveyard Ledge, because that seems to be a fairly I don't know what word I'm looking for. That seems to be a good play. But that's right, he has not actually checked the Magic Bat. So he's gonna get his heart piece here.
And Felix is going to show off that you do not, in fact, need the hook shot to get it through the Bumper Cave. It just looks like you do, but you can skirt that edge. And he's going to be the first runner to get mitts.
Yep. That gives him a little bit nicer routing too for getting into Village of Outcasts as well. Not having to go through the Lost Woods saves a few seconds. So I'm really interested actually where this hookshot's gonna be. Or the boots, because they still need boots for desert. And which one they're gonna find first.
You know, I was thinking we were going to see hookshot right away, but more and more I'm starting to think, okay, we've got the lamp, so we can beat Landmolus in Desert Palace as long as we have a way of getting there. And to get there, we need the key off the torch. So, boots must be coming soon.
Yeah, and as well, if Bombos is Turtle Rock, the other thing we could see is the other thing we could see is Fire Rod, or even maybe not. Fire Rod could be at all the way at Laser Bridge if, you know, somehow the logic put it there. If there's enough keys.
It's a frightening possibility, but it can happen.
Yep.
Felix is checking Spike Cave right here.
Oh,
Finds Ether.
that's actually a nice find as well.
Yeah, that really increases the possibility that Turtle Rock's open at this point. And certainly makes it so tempting to go in there if it's available.
And Truzzl is in fact in Skull Woods. I expect once he's done here and doesn't find anything of significance that he's going to be heading towards that Bumper Cave and picking up his Titan's mitts.
Yeah, and that might have him a bit worried just because, you know, those mitts have been around for him, available for him for a long time. He skipped glancing at that ledge earlier, so he didn't know that was an option. He might be getting, or feeling like he's a bit behind. Fortunately for him at this point, he does still have that one dungeon lead, and in general is just up a few locations on Felix.
Somehow getting hit by that jellyfish. All right, so Felix probably going to be heading into Tower of Hera. He has the lamp, so he's not going to be worried. But he's going to find out very quickly he doesn't even need it. With both the items being really quick. There's that big key.
And Truzzl finding that small key at the back of Skull Woods. If I've counted correctly, then I think when the runners get the Fire Rod and they have access to the back part of Skull Woods, that's where both the remaining items will be.
I believe so as well, from what I've seen. We've already seen map, we've seen compass, we've seen the big key, and then 2 small keys from those chests is what I recall. But I could be mistaken.
No, that sounds about right.
So Felix getting the second item from Tower of Hera. This is gonna go straight to the boss. There's no need to drop down. It's already got both things necessary here. Just gonna need to kill Moldorm here. Now, pulling at the cape might be doing some cape strats here just to be safe.
This is interesting. I don't actually know what happens if you spin attack Moldorm's head when you have the cape open. I assume you'd bounce off.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter. He's got his 3 spins in and Moldorm's down, so that's 2 crystals each for the runners.
Yeah. So Felix is going to be heading to East Death Mountain at this point. And Truzzle's still having the little bit of the lead from already going into pod. So this could be interesting depending upon what is over on East Death Mountain for the Dark World. And whether or not they can go into Turtle Rock.
I'll be completely honest. What I'm hoping to see here is ether required for Turtle Rock and Fire Rod and Super Bunny Cave. They're up here.
Boy.
I want to give them all the stuff for Turtle Rock. Let them just clear it out right now while it's in play.
And if that's the case, they might actually then, if they get the Fire Rod up here, they'll probably be able to clear Ice Palace. And it is, in fact, ether required Turtle Rock.
I'm so sorry, runners. Now, even if you don't get the Fire Rod out of these these 2 chests in Super Bunny, I think you still go into Turtle Rock in this case, just because, there's only 1 chest you're guaranteed, but checking that 1 chest doesn't actually cost you any time, because everyone kind of backtracks from there anyways.
+5 arrow upgrade, and oh man, really just rupees.
No Fire Rod today.
Nope. Where is that thing?
Oh, so Truzzl, on the other hand, now that he's got the Titan's Mitts, he doesn't want to mess around on Death Mountain at the moment. He's going to do the Smith sequence, which is going to include hammer pegs and very probably the purple chest.
So this is actually a good play from him, because at the moment, East Death Mountain is really only guaranteed to be 2 chests. He has no idea what the entrance requirement is for Turtle Rock, and to him, it's really only a 33% chance that he's got the right medallion. So, ooh, nice green rupee. That's our second one.
Yeah, that's completely right. From Truzzle's perspective, he hasn't done Spike Cave. He doesn't know that Ether's in there, which would open Turtle Rock. But even then, you're only getting a 3rd chest, really.
Yep. And Hammersmiths, unfortunately, just giving 3 bombs.
I feel like it's a bit dangerous for them just to be hammering away at explosive devices on their workbench.
What? Haven't you ever watched the Looney Tunes? They do that all the time.
Look, I don't want to tell the Dwarven Smiths how to do their job. I just don't want to be around it.
Yeah, they're awfully close to a town.
And, interesting. Truzzle's taking the purple chest on a tour of South Dark World. This means he's going to be in the Dark World, and when he trades that chest in, he can also check on the Bombos tablet.
Yep. With Master Sword, definitely going to be able to obtain whatever it is, and Felix is, in fact, in Turtle Rock.
Well, another little bit of love for Truzzle.
Ooh, small key. We're going to be able to see a little bit more progression here.
Yeah, this is where it gets dangerous for Felix. If it's too many small keys that lead him to nothing, he could end up sinking a lot of time.
Oh man! Is the hook shot!
Oh my goodness. On
That
the Bombos tablet.
Both Swamp Palace and Ice Palace now currently completable for Truzzl. But instead, he actually heads up to Death Mountain. Interesting.
Oh yeah, because he can hookshot over there now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which is so much faster than doing the annoying first route they took.
And he's got Hookshot Cave now.
Oh, that's right.
Which is like 4 additional chests that he did not have before. But he definitely needs to go into Spike Cave if he wants to go into Turtle Rock. Luckily, Felix got locked out of Turtle Rock really quickly. So he's not going to sink too much time in there looking for absolutely nothing. So at the moment, I guess we're still looking for the bow. We're still looking for Fire Rod. We're still looking for the boots for Desert Palace, and we're still looking for Flute for Misery Mire. So we still have quite a bit of items. We also don't know which medallion is required for Misery Mire. But
yeah, and that's one of those things that really bugs you as the seed goes on. You've got 2 of the 3 medallions. You're like, great. If I can find the flute, I will find out if I can get into Misery Mire. But until that happens, I have to check everything, hoping that I'm finding the right medallions.
All right, here we go. Hookshot Cave and the bow. Oh goodness, that's really good for him. And the silver arrows on top of it.
Here, have a bow and the better things to shoot from that bow. Go ahead, have them both at once.
See, and they got those special 10 arrows from Eastern Palace earlier.
You know, I figured they would have fired those 10 arrows by now, but obviously they haven't. Truzzl looked like he was about to save and quit, and then remembers, hang on, there's still something I can do up on this mountain. We're going to see him head over to Spike Cave. And I do wonder if that ether medallion he gets is going to make him make the trip back over to the east and head into Turtle Rock.
Well, he's definitely going to save and quit out of the thing here. So it could be interesting to see whether or not he decides to save and quit back to the mountain or in fact go somewhere else.
Then again, well, on the one hand, you could take that bow, you could go back to Pod, clear that out, you could go back to Eastern and clear that out. Those are 2 pendant dungeons. You're not actually advancing yourself through the seed with them.
Nope, but he also hasn't checked the pedestal. So he has no idea whether or not that is in fact still something that he should be worried about. Whereas...
So instead, I think he might be making the Ice Palace play, which probably the wise thing to do at this point. It's your only crystal dungeon that's fully clearable. Might as well start with that.
Yep, I agree. You can find the Fire Rod here, Flute Boots. He also hasn't done Ice Rod Cave. And without finding the boots and without finding the flute so far into the seed, I can definitely agree with this play. He might be a little bit nervous that one of those items is hanging around over here. All right, so Felix hasn't in fact checked this cave right here. So lucky for him, actually, this is going to lead him over towards getting the hook shot, because he's already going to be in the Dark World. He's going to be able to mirror over to Vamos and pick that up. So that's actually going to be really good for him. Also, the benefit of that is if he goes up Death Mountain, he's going to actually he's gonna be able to get that bow before going pod. But with him being so close over here to pod, I kind of worry that he might consider going there instead, and then having to make that double dip that we've already seen Truzzl have to do. Potentially do, because it's not a required dungeon, but we're still looking for items. So Truzzl actually is looking like he's going towards Turtle Rock.
You know, I completely understand this play. You're going a long ways to get into Turtle Rock. Yes, potentially it's a huge time sink, and it's not going to pay out for him. Yes. But the number of times in this tournament I've seen something crazy come out of Turtle Rock, like, in particular, the flute. This is a fully justifiable play because you're expecting to go in there at some point. The logic can do such crazy things. It can force double dips. This is a defensible play, even if it is awkward.
Ooh. Looks like we're seeing the Swamp Palace play on Felix's side.
By that same token, in this tournament, the number of seeds I've seen where Swamp Palace was hiding something.
So, yeah, this is actually going to be interesting. There is still a lot of things that Felix has not seen. Like the fact that Vamos is in pod. Bo is in Hookshot Cave. He's still looking for flute, boots, and fire rod on top of that. It'll be interesting to see if Vamos is the thing necessary to beat Ice Palace, though. We definitely know that Pyramid Fairy can't hold the fire rod because it's needed for Trinex.
You know, there's this weird world I can see where Felix doesn't go up the mountain for a long time because the fire rod doesn't show up for a long time. And because Eastern and Pod are both pendants, you don't need the bow to complete them. And Felix can potion glitch right side pod, so it's not like he needs the bow for most of the items there. There's a weird world I see where he full clears every dungeon and then ends up finding the bow on his way to Turtle Rock at the very end. It's potentially a huge time sink for him to full clear every single dungeon, but it might be a long time before he gets that bow.
So it looks like Truzzl is making the Swamp Palace play as well. So that's actually really interesting. Neither of them, or at least definitely Truzzl, who has the Vamos medallion, instead of going into Ice Palace, which is a crystal, going to Swamp. Swamp does have more items though, so he's still looking for quite a bit. There's still, like I said, 3 more items for him. Plus if he wants a sword upgrade. Never mind, I take that back. Looks like he decided instead he's gonna go to Ice Palace. Maybe he went into Swamp and was like, wait, this is pendant music. What am I doing in here?
Could be that, yeah. Felix did find the big key already, opened the big chest, got a potion out of it, and is now headed to the back of the dungeon. The way it's lining up, we might see that awesome Swamp Palace layout where your map and your compass are both on the left side.
As long as somebody just didn't commentate or jinx it.
I mean, the values of the items and their place in the seed are set when everything's generated. It's not like anything I say can possibly affect that. Oh my goodness!
Oh boy, there's the flute! Now he's at least gonna be able to see what the medallion is required for Misery Mire, and that's really good information for him right now. And Truzzl, instead of actually going into Swamp, he decided to go into Ice Palace, so he's not gonna get that flute.
That's potentially a huge find for Felix. This could be the time gain he needs to or the big find he needs to gain some time back. Truzzl might run out of options fairly soon and end up going into Swamp as well, but for the time being, Felix does kind of finally have a leg up in this race.
Yep. I feel like Truzzl will probably go to Swamp before going back to Pod and Eastern. Maybe Eastern because it's a green pendant, but well, interestingly enough, like I said earlier, Truzzl still doesn't know what the pedestal is, so and any of these items could be on there at this point.
Yeah, and in that light, you know, going back for the right side of Pod plus the item, plus Helmasaur, plus the Armos Knights, and the fact that you get to do both in one play, that could be a good enough reason to head to that eastern area. Falling a couple times on the IPBJ.
Oh my god. We just got Fire Rod on Argus.
And Flute in the same pendant swamp.
To be honest,
what?
I would skip left side at this point. Like, yeah, there's like 2 items in there. Definitely not gonna be a third.
Quote, how great can the swamp be? Surely it won't have a third item.
See, I said early on I was talking about Swamp. Oh my gosh, no, that's amazing. This could actually lead him back up Death Mountain though, and that's good. He's gonna be able to complete Skullwoods, which is gonna give him 2 items. If that's the boots, that could be huge. But he's also gonna be able to activate that flute now and see what the required medallion is for Misery Mire, which is even bigger news.
Yeah, and I'm sure that'll be his very first thing to check, because knowing whether or not you're in go mode based on that medallion can save you from doing so many other checks as you clear out dungeons.
I'm kind of a little bit concerned that it's Bombos, just based on the just based on, I guess, where it was found.
That does seem like something that could happen. Felix is not there at the moment.
No, he's gonna activate his flute and then go to Skullwoods because he's got the Fire Rod and it is a crystal dungeon.
That's right. And Truzzl finds that 4th bottle over on the right side of Ice Palace.
So Felix needs potentially 2 items, maybe 3 for go mode. Bow, which is at Hookshot Cave, boots, which we still don't know where they are, and whatever the required medallion is for Misery Mire. Truzzl needs to go to Swamp Palace, as that's where he's going to find his flute and Fire Rod. So after this, I guess it's Ice Palace, Misery Mire, Turtle Rock, and Desert Palace that are really...
Truzzl setting up the bomb jump doesn't quite get it. So he'll be able to open the big chest here, I think.
Yep.
And get a second item out of Ice Palace. But he's skipping out on the Ice Tea Room for the time being. And if that has his 3rd item, he may not head back for it. Oh, he's just going to walk to it. A bit slower this way, but it'll guarantee he gets everything out of the dungeon.
Well, and the other benefit of doing it this way is the fact that he's able to powder that anti-fairy and get a little bit more health. So when he does go to the boss, he's not too limited. He does have the Master Sword, which is a little bit more challenging, but at this stage of the competition, I don't expect either of these runners are going to be having too much problem with Master Sword pulls there.
No, this is the kind of race, or the kind of setup where you go, okay, I have red mail, so even if I miss a few hits, even if I get hit a couple times, I'm not really in danger. And I think that gets amplified by the fact that Truzzle's running around with a max of 14 hearts right now.
So Mothula, being a bit of a meanie up there, hanging up by the spikes, but Felix gets that kill, gets the heart piece, and his next crystal.
Yeah, but Truzzle also entering that Cold Stir fight, going to pick up his third as well. Forced, unfortunately, to use Bombos for this fight. This is where you kind of want the Fire Rod available. And I see him switching to the Hammer. This is a tricky strat to get the timing down on, but really lets you land some good hits early.
But he's doing a fantastic job on these Cold Stare puffs. He does, he does not have Fire Rod, but he's got them in a nice position here, where he's kind of pinning them against the wall, so they're not able to get very far from him. And that way he's able to land multiple hits one after the other and gets his next crystal and small key, which he doesn't need.
Wow, that is not an easy fight to keep landing those hammer hits.
No.
Hammer hitbox is so weird, and he was landing them from all directions, left, right, down, and the very tricky up. Nice fight.
And it's ether required for Misery Mire. So, in fact, it does not look like Felix is gonna need to go into pod, and gets the Tempered Sword right there.
That's a fantastic time to find the Tempered Sword.
You know what it would be a fantastic time to find? Is if he went to Checkerboard Cave or Misery Mire and found those boots. Because this would be the perfect place to find them. Because that way he'd be able to just mirror over to Desert Palace. And it looks like Truzzle, I think, is heading over to Swamp, so he's going to be picking up his flute and his Fire Rod as well. That's going to be really good for him.
Yeah, and I expect we'll see Truzzle do a similar thing. Take the flute, the Fire Rod, clear out Skull Woods, and then find out down here that he's got the medallion he needs to enter Misery Mire. As a bonus, because they got a fire source and the red cane already, this dungeon is fully completable right now.
Absolutely. So Felix, I believe after this, see, he could go to Ice Palace or he could go to Turtle Rock. And I'm wondering which direction he heads, because Ice Palace is, there's 3 items in there. Turtle Rock has more, but Turtle Rock is nice to do on the way to Ganon's tower. It's kind of nice to only need to make that climb once. But we know that Ice Palace doesn't have really anything in there of value. So if he's able to go mode that's beneficial to him. And Turtle Rock does have more items, has been known to hold some significant value stuff in the later half of the dungeon. So plus he's going to pick up that bow along the way, so could be interesting. And getting the Godmire, but not being able to really do anything with it because he's not in go mode.
No, we might still see him go straight back to clean up Vitrius right now. It's a play a lot of runners do when you get the Godmire, just because, if Vitrius has an item, now you've got one of your items and you can skip out. Oh my goodness!
Oh my god, if he had the bow, he'd be able to be in go mode right now, but he doesn't know it's on Death Mountain. Oh no! Well, we know where everything is that the runners need to go for go mode. Oh goodness.
Yeah, he's going to be clearing the rest of this dungeon, finding that second item. For his sake, I hope he finds it sooner rather than later so we can go straight back to Vidi.
Ooh, man.
Truzzle's coming up on the midpoint of Swamp Palace. We know that left side isn't going to have anything for him. though there is still one item there. He's headed straight to the back, and he's going to get that flute sooner rather than later.
Yeah, he's gonna get the flutes, and he's going to get the fire rod right very shortly thereafter. So this is the point where Felix needs to go up Death Mountain and get that bow before going into Ice Palace, because full clearing Ice Palace takes quite a bit of time, and he needs to catch up a little bit on Truzzl, who's got a little bit more things checked. Because he'll be able to be in go mode pretty much as soon as he heads over to Misery Mire.
That's right. Now, unfortunately, I think in Felix's position here, you do go to Ice Palace first.
Yeah.
And full clear that. Okay, you're disappointed. Then you head up to Turtle Rock, I would hope. And along the way, he might find that bow. He does have an edge here, which is that when he goes through Ice Palace, he's going to have the Tempered Sword instead of the Master Sword. Mm-hmm. Now, Truzzl had a very, very good fight with Cold Stare with the hammer, but that's still not going to be as fast as a proper tempered fight. So, you know, there's chances for Felix to make up time here and there.
All right, so we're going to be going into the bottom half of Misery Mire here. It's not going to be too long before we get straight to Vitreous with Tempered Sword and with Boots and with Cape and Cane. There's a bunch of different strats actually that Felix is going to be able to employ here. He might do the spin strats. He might be able to do, or he might do you know, the dash strats, but unfortunately without the bow and the silver arrows, he's definitely not going to be doing the bow strats.
No, and Chet does bring up a good point that, you know, Truzzl's running around with silver arrows. That makes his play so much faster on bosses. We saw him take out the second half of Argus with a single silver arrow there. When he gets to Vidi, he gets to do it faster with silvers than Felix can do with tempered. So, you know, Felix is still going to be looking for ways he can make up time, and there's not a lot of them.
No, he's got to make that gamble up Death Mountain at this point. Like, he does have the advantage. He does have the crystal for Skull Woods at the moment. So it's a little bit of a lead, I guess.
I guess that's the question. What's faster? Is it No, Felix, you can't use the fire rod on Vitreous.
This is not Argus.
You know, there is that question. What's faster, a God Mode Mire or a God Mode Mire and the back of Skull Woods or Ice Palace? And they've come in pretty close to each other once you factor in that Truzzle's got to activate his flute and do 2 dungeons still.
Well, he's also gonna be in go mode for desert.
Oh, that's right.
So there's also the fact that Felix is gonna mirror over desert right now, and he's gonna complete desert, which he's gonna check the right side. He's going to do all that extra stuff that he doesn't actually need to do, but he doesn't know that he doesn't need to do it. So that's the only thing. Collecting a nice collection of arrows, though, so when he does get the bow, he's gonna be fully stocked.
Yeah, shoutouts to arrow capacity upgrades, because we've certainly seen a lot of them.
So, Truzzl now heading into Skull Woods, gonna be able to do the Mothula fight. So, after this, though, I pretty much suspect that he's probably going to be going to Misery Mire, though, to check that medallion requirement. And because it is, in fact, Ether, that's going to be good for him. He's got 2 keys right now, so he doesn't need to grab any more. Won't need to kill the Gibdo.
And with half magic, he can just spam that fire rod very liberally. Maybe even spread some shots around for Mothula. Felix is dashing his way through Desert Palace, which of course has those nice long open stretches for the boots to get used. Gets a second item out of the big chest, but as you said, it's a bit of a time sink to go through all these other chests when in Truzzle's position, you just get the big key and go straight to the boss.
Luckily, luckily the torch item is the small key and not the big key. Because if it was the big key, then Truzzle could just take the big key and just go straight to the boss. But now with the small key, he has to at least go to the right side, which means that Felix doesn't spend too much time, I guess.
It does narrow the gap a bit.
Yeah.
And Truzzle spamming that fire rod away, combined with some clever Master Sword slashes, gets Mothula down. So that is now 4 crystals for him as well. This is a race we have on our hands, and with both runners at 4 and 2, only the winner of today's race is going to advance into brackets. That's got to be weighing on their minds as they go through.
Absolutely. So Felix is going to be finishing up. He does not have, again, the bow and the silver arrows, so he's going to need to use fire rod or ice rod on Lanmo to make this fight a lot quicker. And Truzzle mirroring out once he gets his heart container from Skullwoods. That's probably going to be heading to Misery Mire. Gets, oh my goodness, that nice 1 cycle on Lanmo. That was a beautiful fight.
I did not think he had it there. I thought that second Lanmo had just ducked his head back in, but great fire rod work there.
Yep, Truzzle checking the pyramid. Ooh, I really wanted that pyramid fairy, apparently. Truzzle checking the pedestal, and finding out that it is not, in fact, required. It's gonna be a weight off his shoulders. So Felix now, I'm wondering where he's going at this point.
Oh, he's going to check Bonk Rocks. He's going to check King's Tomb.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's just picked up the
thing.
boots. These are, viable locations for an item to be hiding for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, if you can check these before you go to Ice Palace and you find the bow in either of them, now you get to go mode Ice Palace. We know, of course, that's not going to be the case.
Nope. I wonder if he's gonna go and I see what he was trying to do. He was trying to do the glitch. Unfortunately, you need to wait for the arrow to come or the boomerang to come back before you dash in order to do that little glitch.
I was also hoping he'd do that nice new glitch just found this week where the top of the King's Tomb keeps going into the trees.
And looks like we're seeing the Ice Palace play from Felix as Truzzle heads towards Misery Mire. Gonna find out Ether is in fact the medallion required. Actually, I don't even think he really checked. Just going straight for the Mini Mire cave, hoping that boots are in here. He's got Mir out to do the block erase glitch. I wonder if Felix makes the gamble just to go straight to Cold Stare and hope that the item is on Cold Stare.
That would be an incredibly big gamble at this point.
Yep.
If he ends up doing it, I think it gives the race to him. But, it's such a risky play. You're leaving 3 items behind.
Yep. He might even just come back in to do it after, but I don't think that he's gonna Go straight to cold stare. And looks like Truzzle might be fluting away.
Okay. Did he misread?
I don't think he saw the medallion for Misery Mire, or
Oh no.
I wonder if, yeah. Oh boy, this makes things really interesting. I mean, he's gonna be able to complete Turtle Rock, so that's good. But he's not gonna be in go mode. So he's gonna be checking like a couple extra chests, maybe like Laser Bridge and stuff like that. That might not be necessary, but also Mimic Cave, other things up here. Ooh, getting Dead Rock blocked.
Felix is having a bit of trouble with this Ice Palace bomb jump. Just not quite lining it up. Fortunately, he's got some bottles and he's got a fairy in reserve if it comes down to it. So he's should be able to weather this, but
yeah, this jump is definitely kind of annoying. He's a little bit too high and now a little bit too low. And with some controllers, this is kind of a really difficult thing to set up. Now the thing is that if he's going to do full clear this dungeon anyways, he's got the Cane of Samaria. He really doesn't need to do this bomb jump. But
on the one hand, if you're full clearing the dungeon and you know you're opening every chest, you're completely right. You don't need that bomb jump and it doesn't really save you any time. I like the idea of doing it here because if he finds the bow in this dungeon, he's done. He can go straight to the end.
That's true.
And he doesn't want to be stuck finding the big key and a bunch of small keys along the way.
Now, I'm wondering after this where Truzzle goes, because there's still items, I guess, and I don't actually think there's very many items. Like he has ice, or not ice. Oh my goodness, Eastern Palace and Pod that he can still complete. Eastern being a green pendant, and I'm not exactly sure how come he left the Misery Mire area. If he must just not have seen or maybe misread the medallion requirement.
So I saw a restreamer mention in chat that Truzzle knows. He marked it on his tracker on his own side. He knows what's up with that. I like the idea that Truzzle is hoping to find boots elsewhere so that he can do all of this area in one go. But unfortunately, that's just not in the cards today.
That's true. Because he does have everything he needs to complete this dungeon. He does have everything he needs to complete Misery Mire too. But oh, that's a cute sprite.
I really like that bunny sprite. But yeah, the full clear here is going to cost him a bit of time, especially as he has to do things like check that center chest rather than steal the small key. The other thing that'll hurt him from doing this is he ends up climbing the mountain twice. And in a race that was looking as close as this one was, that ends up making a fair amount of difference.
Yeah, this could be the catch-up time that Felix needs in order to make this back to kind of a little bit more even.
Now, the other advantage Truzzle might be hoping to get by doing this play, doing Turtle Rock does unlock Pyramid Fairy for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, he could be going with, I think, a reasonable idea, because we were both hoping for it earlier.
Yep.
What if my Go Mode item is sitting inside the pyramid? If that's happening, then I'm winning the race if I can get there before my opponent. Especially if it's boots. Then you just see that time save increase as the seed goes on. So, those might be the ideas he's going with here. Felix, meanwhile, has cleared out, I think, everything he can in Ice Palace and gets to do Cold Stare now.
Yep. Gonna be heading down with half magic, fire rod. Gonna make this quite the easy fight here. He's also got the green potion.
He's got that green potion he purchased.
Yep, and the fairy.
Plus, Tempered Sword, ideally you just spin Cold Stare into the corner and wail away on him. If Felix pulls that off, this will be a very quick fight.
Oh, looks like he's got it. Oh, but the Cold Stare puffs get away!
They tend to do that.
Gonna need 2 hits on this guy. Oh, 1 more hit, actually. Oh, wait. He must have got away sooner than the other ones. Alright, so this unlocks Pyramid Fairy, speaking of which. Oh wait, no it doesn't! Turtle Rock!
No, it doesn't.
Use Turtle Rock. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. Oh boy. Well, this, hopefully he heads to Turtle Rock and be like, alright, I could find the bow in Ganon's tower.
Looked like he was hesitating for a second, but he is going there, and I do agree with that idea that, okay, even if we don't find the bow in Hookshot Cave, where it is, even if we don't find it in Thieves Town, it's not required to get to Ganon's tower, so maybe it's just hiding in there.
Yep, he was probably hesitating because he was like, should I go to Pod? I haven't been to Pod. I'll maybe go to Pod. Probably not going to Pod. Oh, unfortunately, Truzzl gets stuck by the crystal blocks.
I mean, it's definitely a hard call to make to consciously leave Palace of Darkness and its 5 potential items behind at this point. Because if the bow was there, that's your tournament.
But at any point in this race, it could be your tournament, and that's the scary part. Being a 4-2 match, literally every decision you make is important.
Oh, absolutely it is. There's no question about that. Truzzl gets that ice head down quickly, gets the fire head quickly, gets the ice head as well. 1 small streak of ice on the floor, but it's not going to cause him any problems for this final bit of Trinex. Nice spin he gets off, needing only 1 more hit.
Makes a very quick Trinex. I wonder if Felix is gonna leave. No, Felix! There's still
Felix!
arrows!
Felix!
Oh no!
Oh no!
No, Felix! Oh no!
So at 1 hour and 38 minutes, Felix_TC has entered go mode. And just 1 more chest he needed to check for the silver arrows. He is, of course, perfectly capable of doing the Ganon fight silverless, but, it was definitely a time save if he did check that 1 extra chest.
That could, honestly, this match can come down to the Ganon fight. So skipping those arrows could be a really risky play. Now, Truzzl still needs to do Misery Mire and Desert Palace. So with Felix already being up on Death Mountain, he's got a bit of a lead at the moment.
Yeah, and Truzzl, of course, if he heads to Misery Mire, he'll find those boots very quickly. He is headed to the Pyramid Fairy first.
I'm thinking that maybe Felix knows he's confident in his silverless Ganon. He probably won't be checking any additional chests unless they're on his way up Ganon's tower. I can understand that. This is, in fact, you know, the race that decides whether or not either of these runners continue. So once he's in go mode, whether it be one extra chest, that could be what decides your race. And we've seen multiple races this tournament come down to just seconds, and going back into that cave just to check could, in his mind, could cost him the race. So I don't see him going back and
Oh,
checking
no.
that.
No, you don't go back in at this point, and you know, even the call to leave those other 3 chests makes perfect sense, because the only thing it could give you is silvers, and you're potentially opening 22 chests in Ganon's tower anyways, so bank on silvers being there, or just go ahead without them.
It just sucks that it was the next chest. Literally the next one after.
Oh yeah. So Truzzl pulled, I believe it was a heart piece and 20 rupees out of the Pyramid Fairy.
Yep.
And he's back in the mire area now. He's checking this shed again, which he was in earlier.
Yeah, I think he might have mismarked some things, or maybe got a little bit confused. He does have ether out, so he does know. Yep. So he's going down to use ether, and I feel like once he sees the boots in here, he's gonna be really, really worried. Maybe he wanted a refund on his mire shed items, but it was a tempered sword.
I'm not asking for a refund on a tempered sword ever. Even in vanilla, when it costs 10 rupees, I'm not asking for a refund for it.
And using these sword beams, having a nice, quick wither room here. So Felix is having to go through the laser bridge to find the small key. I think it was the second chest down. I could be mistaken. Nope, that was the shovel. I knew there was something of interest there. But he's doing a very nice job of avoiding damage.
He's doing a very nice job of avoiding the lasers.
Yes,
Some
there we go.
damage from beetles from the falling. Yeah, it happens.
And well, okay. He was.
Right.
He
He's
was
through the laser bridge.
Yeah, we did it.
And Truzzle's about to open this chest here. He's going to find the boots and hit go mode.
There it is. There it is.
And he recognizes go mode when he sees it. He is headed straight to Vitreous. He'll get to do this with silvers, but at this point, he still has to do Desert Palace after. Felix is going to have the lead.
Yep. Yep. All right, one head down.
Felix letting Trinix get about twice as much ice out onto the platform as before, but again, when it's that vertical stripe, it doesn't really matter when you're going straight for the Trinix third head.
Oh, unfortunately gets hit out of place. Doesn't get the kill as quickly as Truzzl, but still a very nice fight. And obtains another heart piece. And
So with that,
the last crystal.
we don't have a robot here on ALTTP Randomizer, but you, chat, are welcome to type whatever numbers you want in there for whatever purpose you see fit.
Preferably between 1 and 22.
Only if you're trying to guess what chest the big key is in.
All right, here we go. We are now opening up Ganon's tower. Now this could be interesting. Felix, I feel like, will be a little worried that he's behind. So I'm wondering if he gets a key in the first chest, or the first 2 chests, if he just goes straight right side, just to make sure.
This might be the time we see a right side gamble, yeah.
And I feel like Truzzl is going to be feeling the same thing here when he gets up to Ganon's tower. Oh, there's the last medallion. Oh, no small keys. Maybe we might see Dark Magician strats even here.
That would certainly be a gutsy turn of events in this case. Well, there's a key on the torch.
Yeah, both of them picking up a key on the torch at the exact same time, just not in the same dungeon.
Great work, team. I knew we could do it.
Kind of a semi-sync.
And Truzzl gets that big key.
Ooh, Felix getting the butter sword. So that's gonna be a nice upgrade for the Ganon fight.
Yeah, and both runners are going to end up getting that. That turns that first 2 phases of Ganon into something you just kind of go on autopilot through. 6 slashes, 6 slashes. Oh look, we're in phase 3.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it does not help in phase 4 when you're doing it silverless. You still need 12 spins.
He's having a little bit of trouble with this boomerang. There we go. We got it. As Truzzl is going to be heading into the Lamo fight, Truzzl is actually going to have the silver arrow advantage, so is going to be able to just 1 silver arrow to each Lanmo, but instead actually opts. Oh, mate, of course, has to light the torch. Ignore me.
I have tried to use silver arrows to light those torches in the past. It is not my proudest moment in video gaming.
And another small key. We're gonna get to see the rando room.
Oh, but Truzzl misses that second Lanmo.
Yeah, does not get the 1 cycle, but does get the 2 cycle, so still not a bad Lanmo fight.
Rando room paying off with a compass that'll tell you where the boss of this dungeon is.
So he mirrors out, instead going right side, and he's going to use the right to go all the way to Ice Armos if he can't find the item or the key.
Fascinating play. This does make me think Felix feels like he's behind, or he wouldn't be doing this play that is not what your opponent would be doing. It's a great way to try to gain an edge here, but a bit frightening.
It is, especially as Truzzl is now heading up towards Ganon's tower. So this could be pretty close depending upon the route that Truzzl makes. Especially if it is in fact right side, and he does, there it is! But we still need a small key, so if we don't find one in here, we'll just go through the teleporter room here, grab the small key, and be on our way. So Felix now heading up to Aghanim 2, heading up the gauntlet, or going to be heading up the gauntlet, as Truzzl is just going to be entering Ganon's tower.
So that was chest 14. If you usually like to guess Bob's chest, which is number 14, that's a win for you. What's the prize today?
Good question. I'm not good at these things.
Well,
the prize
I'm just relying
is
on you.
Eternal link to the past glory.
Well, I hope someone won with the guessing game, because that seems like an easier way to get that glory than winning this tournament. Alright, so Truzzl's entering Ganon's tower now. He's going to do 2 on the right, and not finding a small key, he'll have to go left. I think Felix was trying to do a bow dash down in that spike room, but got nudged somewhere in there.
Yep, and I'm wondering if Truzzl is going to do the Dark Magician strats, because without getting a small key, not able to go right side, but he might be feeling a little bit behind after that, after those shenanigans with the boots. So
yeah, he knows that at a minimum, he lost the time of the second Death Mountain climb, plus, any incidental time not having boots cost him.
yeah,
It looks
and
like
then
he's pressing on left for now.
checking a few overworld locations.
Ooh, Felix
So-
getting bodied in the gauntlet in the first ice room.
So it looks like Truzzl is in fact killing all the Stalfos, so I don't believe he's going to be doing the Dark Magician strats. Alright, round 2. Oh no! It doesn't get it!
Ooh, and Felix is running low on magic here. He does, as we pointed out earlier, have that green potion he bought. I think with the intention of using it for right side pod, but he may need to use it up here.
So Truzzle continuing on through left side Ganon's tower. Gonna be... I wonder if he's gonna go all the way to Armos. I would. That would be my play. Even if I felt behind. But this is why I'm not in the tournament anymore.
I mean, it certainly did end up saving Felix a couple of minutes by doing it that way,
Yep.
which, even if he wasn't behind, had the intended effect. But Truzzle's going to press on through. He's going to do Bob's chest as well as the Ice Armos before finally checking right side. So Felix is going to continue to gain time here. Already up to the Helmasaur room. He's got to take out one of these guys to get a key from them.
Yep. I was wondering if he was checking those chests just to see if it had a small key, maybe to be able to press on. He's definitely not looking for silvers. Otherwise, he would have opened that other chest. He has a powder in order to powder this anti-fairy to get some more health, and we'll pull out the hook shot. Oh, maybe he is looking for silver arrows.
I mean, why not check while you're right there?
That is true.
And coming on the
So-
Moldorm 2 fight, just has to get another hit there.
And Truzzle is completing Ice Armos. Getting bodied a little bit here. Oh, and gets the bug net! What a fantastic thing to find right before Endgame 2.
That's a fantastic spot to find the bug net, because now it's fresh in your mind. You can walk into that fight, you can pull out the bug net and fight Aga2 that way.
Yep.
Or you could use the sword for a significantly more reliable method of taking on the boss.
Swagging him. I know, at this point, this is a 4-2, like, winner take all race. Nobody's gonna be doing swagging him at this point.
No, but it's certainly got to be on their minds.
And Truzzle now going to be going through the right side here. He's picking up that magic, getting a little bit bodied by this spike.
Ooh, he's got to be quick here. He might be running out of time.
Oh, and he does run out of time. He has got to go back as Felix finishes up the Aga2 fight. He's going to be heading into the Ganon fight with full heart, full magic, butter sword, no silver arrows, and Truzzle very low on health and takes the death. I believe he's got a fairy though.
At least one.
Yep.
Now, Felix doesn't have the blue mail. The red, or does have the blue mail, not the red. Red was hiding over in pod, but he shouldn't need it at this point.
So I think he was trying to set up for the the strats that you normally use with the tempered sword, but missed it a little bit. But he's got enough hits on Ganon. Moving to phase 3, needs 4 hits on Ganon here. Gets the first one. As Truzzle is heading up Ganon's tower to the gauntlet. Felix getting the second hit and the third hit now. This is very nice Ganon warps.
He's playing fair today with the runners, not jerking them around too much. Ganon asking if he found the arrows in the Dark World, and Felix, of course, one chest away from finding them in Hookshot Cave.
Yep, that is definitely something that we're gonna ask him when he comes in for his interview.
So he's going to need 12 spins with the Silverless. If he pulls them off just as Ganon starts to warp, it counts as a hit because, well, the game's a bit weird. That is not what you want to do. If Ganon turns blue, you've missed the hit. Oh, almost falling there.
Yep. Gets a very nice setup here for Ganon, and nice warps too. Oh, unfortunately missing that that one spin there. That would have been a nice triple.
Yeah, if Ganon stops his warp close enough to where you're standing when you light the torch with the fire rod, it is possible to get 3 on a cycle. Felix doesn't need that here, though. He's got his 12 hits. He's finished up.
And GG to Felix. That was a fantastic Ganon fight.
He's going to walk through that door and win that race with a time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, 55 seconds, advancing to a record of 5-2. That's going to put him in the bracket stage of this tournament.
Yeah, GG to Felix. That was fantastic.
So congratulations to him. We'll see if we can get him in for an interview. Meanwhile, Truzzl's made his way through the gauntlet, did his second stage, or his Landmo 2 fight rather, and now through both Wizard rooms just gets to keep powering on.
And GG to Felix, our victor here. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling?
I am pumped. It's probably good that I was running stream delay because I screamed a little.
That was a close race. For a long time, we were worried because you were a bit behind. And I think it all really changed at really the boots at Misery Mire. It's kind of the deciding factor. I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of the later part of it, but
I just want to draw everyone's attention to Truzzl didn't pull off the hover.
I think Truzzl attempting to hover the Moldorm 2 chest.
I thought he had it there.
He was doing really good. Truzzl does know how to hover pretty well.
I don't. I definitely can't hover.
So, first question for you, Felix. Ganon mentioned that the silver arrows are in the Dark World. Do you know where they are?
I think I only had like 3 places left to check in the entire game.
And where would those be?
It's like Hookshot Cave, Pyramid Ferry. That's it, I think.
They were, in fact, in the next chest in Hookshot Cave.
All right.
Yep. You got the bow, and then immediately after would have got the silver arrow.
Yeah, that was one of those like, all right, I'm in go mode. I need to go as fast as I can. I don't think I'm ahead at this point. Because that seed was silly. It was one of those like, if you guessed right, you were gonna be in quite a lead, and I didn't.
Are you referring to your early guess about what to do after kind of the initial Eastern check?
There was like, yeah, like because going back, it was bottle that led to flippers that led to
Bottle that led to mushroom that led to flippers.
yeah, that led to Moon Pearl, that opened a dark world, that led to being able to get mirror, that led to your second sword, which led to the hook shot, which led to everything.
Yeah,
Too.
it was quite the seed. And it for Truzzle, basically at the beginning, everything just kind of lined up for him. Every time that he, he just happened to get the right items, and instead of going down by Hype Cave, he instead went to Thieves Town and then immediately found the mirror and everything else. And then shortly thereafter, Bombos was the hook shot, and it was just it was crazy. But at this point, Truzzle just actually in the middle of the Ganon fight at the moment. Truzzle, in fact, did of course find the silvers. That's how we were able to determine. But he went up Death Mountain with the Titan's mitts much later than you did. He had already done the Bombos Towel, so we were kind of nervous because you still had, or at least you still had a few more locations to check that you wouldn't have been in go mode.
That's right. Truzzle has finished up the race now with an official time of 2 hours, 1 minute, and 6 seconds. So big GG to him as well.
Yeah, and pulling off that nice triple there with the silver arrows. That was fantastic.
It was.
Nice. The triples. Yeah, I did actually think about doing like the blacksmith route, which would have taken me to the tablet to get the hook shot before. It was like, all right, I got the mitts. I gotta go back up Death Mountain. It's just way more item dense there. So I guessed wrong. It was a weird seed.
Yeah, it really was. We for sure thought there was going to be something a pyramid fairy. At the beginning, there was, all the stuff that led to Turtle Rock, and you were really close to getting everything to get into Ice Palace. Truzzle had already found Bombos medallion, so he could have actually just gone straight into Ice Palace. You guys were just looking for the Fire Rod, really, to complete Turtle Rock. So it was actually... We actually were really wondering whether or not there would be something at Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah. And we are joined now by Truzzle. So GG on that.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks.
GG, Truzzle.
GG, man.
That was
So, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was actually for Truzzle actually. I'm curious about one play in particular. So you saw Ether at Misery Mire, and then decided to go to Turtle Rock. I guess looking for the boots, figuring higher chance finding the boots, and wanted to do Misery Mire and Desert kind of at the same time.
Yep, that was exactly what happened.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Did not pan out very well.
Unfortunately not, but yeah, those some of these locations today were quite interesting. We had the bits on the Bumper Cave, which Truzzle, you actually sequence broke and would have been able to get a little bit earlier because you'd gone up Death Mountain just walking without the lamp through the cave and happened to just get that cape and whatnot when you needed it. So it was really interesting. For a very long time, as we were saying to Felix, Truzzle, everything just kind of was working out for you. You're just one item after the other. Was there any point in time where you kind of were a little bit worried about maybe being behind either of you, I guess?
I would say after pod. Because I felt like I didn't really find anything in pod. And I was like, that was a lot of time I just spent looking around in there.
Yeah, when you came out of pod, we thought, okay, either he's just spent a lot of time, unfortunately, or if Bombos ends up being required, that's a huge time boost for him.
Yeah, I avoided pod completely. I hate pendant pod in V29 because it's either the best thing in the world, and if you don't go there immediately, you lose, or it's a total waste of time, and if you go in there, you lose. So I continue to play against my hatred for pod.
We definitely thought that Bombos would be the entrance requirement for Ice Palace, and that maybe it was, something sitting in Ice Palace, that maybe the Fire Rod or something. But then we saw Felix head into Swamp Palace and find both the flute and the Fire Rod. It was funny because both of you guys skipped left side. There was really only one item over there, but it was just funny that, I got 2 items, I'm out.
Yeah, it opened way too much. Just too much.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I had Skull Woods and Turtle Rock to do then. I was pretty sure that I'd find something between the two of them.
Yeah, it was good because you guys both did really good routing decisions in regards to the way you kind of paired everything off together, going into the dark world and then mirroring to activate the flute, then going immediately up towards Skull Woods, then going back and checking like Misery Mire and seeing what the medallion requirements are. They're all very, very good plays, and your execution on bosses. I want to say, Truzzl, that Cold Stare fight.
Oh man!
Oh,
That
I was
Cold
mad
Stare
at
fight,
Cold Stare.
that was so good. I was like, oh my god, the hammers, and you got all 3 of them multiple times with one hammer shot. Ooh, it was good. I liked it.
Can you teach me how to do that?
You just gotta have it out for Cold Stare.
Just be pure rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cold Stare can be a bit of a butt sometimes. But yeah, your guys' bots fights were really good. Felix, that Lanmo 1 fight was fantastic as well. We definitely thought you missed the second Lanmo head. We thought it had gone back under, but nope, you got it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it kind of like sticks around for a little while more than you'd expect. But yeah, that was revenge for all of the horrible Landmos, and preemptively that Landmo too. I used up all my Landmo skill.
It was good. We were worried a little bit about your Lamo too, though, afterwards, because you were a little bit. We knew you had half magic, but we were like, oh, he's a little bit low. But you did have that green potion and everything else as backup. So
that was bought if I needed to go to pod so that I could sequence break it with the potion glitch.
Mm-hmm.
But finding that lamp was like, cool, I can go somewhere else logically.
Actually, that was really good. Because at that point you were behind, so it helped catch up a little bit of time. There was constantly back and forth, but it was really, really, really an interesting seed, and it all just started off with that strange fetch quest train. The bottle to mushroom. Felix, you actually fake powdered, which didn't give you anything.
No. I think what was it, like the next chest, or no, it was the first chest in Hype Cave. It's like, oh great,
Yep.
powder.
Yep.
Thanks, game. But yeah, I wasn't gonna go, like, once I found mushroom, it's like, oh, I have the ability to do this, and I'm gonna go, I have nothing else to do, so I'll do this before I turn in the mushroom.
Yeah, it was good. I know that Truzzl, you ended up going there a little bit later, but didn't need to fake powder. But when you handed in the mushroom, were you at any point in time a little worried? Oh darn, I had the cane of Samaria and the.
It was right after I handed it in and went to the other screen. I was like, oh, I could have fake powdered. No, well. I was pretty
Yeah.
relieved to find it pretty soon thereafter.
Yeah, I bet that. Yeah, I kind of assumed that you might be a little bit worried at some point. But no, you both did an excellent job, and I want to say, GG, it's been a fantastic race to watch, to commentate. You guys have done an excellent job throughout the tournament, and both of you guys have, like I said, done an amazing job and put it on a great show for everybody. And so, thank you very much for participating in the tournament.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I really enjoyed watching this one. This gave all the excitement I was hoping for on my Friday night.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for commentating. Thank you to Vash for tracking. Iceman, thank you very much for being here early and doing the thing.
Yeah, thanks to everybody for putting this on. This has been a lot of fun.
I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed it and that you guys enjoyed the race. It's like I said, it was a fantastic race today, and had us all really on the edge of our seats, hyperventilating sometimes, being oh my god. But yeah, it was a great race, and so at this point in the Swiss rounds, it is the last round of the Swiss. So, Felix, you'll be moving on to the brackets in a 5-2 record. Truzzl with 4-3. I believe there's only going to be potentially 2 people that are going to be moving on from that round. So, in the event that you don't get an opportunity to continue, is there anything you wanted to say? I guess your swan song here.
Not really anything in particular. It's just been a lot of fun to be able to play.
Yeah, thank you so much again. And again, thank you so much to Vash, our tracker, who was really on the ball today. There was some points where I was missing items, and I would just look at the tracker. Oh, they got the flip roost. Oh, sweet. Okay, well. But I totally saw everything. I changed my mind, but good job on the tracking, Vash. GG. It was like I said, we couldn't have done it without our fantastic trackers, and Iceman, of course, with the restream and helping us out here with our setup early. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, absolutely. We do have more matches tonight because this tournament doesn't end. Right now on Speed Gaming 3, they're about an hour into their match. It's Unfit versus Swerb. And if you just wait a bit more, coming up in about 40 minutes on Speed Gaming 4 is going to be Serox versus Cryptix. Both of those races are 4-2 races if you want to keep some of that win and in action going on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's also one on A Link to the Past Randomizer 4 right now, which might be fairly close to about an hour and 30 minutes in. So that one's probably going to be pretty close to the end as well. But yeah, and then again, tons of matches tomorrow. So make sure you guys are following all the Speed Gaming channels, all the A Link to the Past Randomizer channels to keep up with all the round 7 Swiss action. And then of course coming up afterwards will be of course the brackets, so you won't want to miss those. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll let my co-com sign us out.
Thank you, Sakura, for joining me on chat. This is a sign off. Good night.
Good night, guys.